Villa not doing that, and yeah, at the moment, apart from when they play it from the back, you can clearly see what they're doing. When Martinez goes long, it seems as if that's when they've run out of ideas almost.
Yeah, as we see a ball go in behind for Onana with a bit of a push into the chest of Perbega. It's been a good battle between them. The throw is taking it, forced to Rowe in the penalty area. On the left-hand side, he looks to flash it into the area. Goes out for throwing, and Jonathan Rowe just trying to get that Bologna crowd going. We've not seen him involved so far. Aston Villa obviously trying to nullify his threat as much as possible as Morgan Rogers probably gets his first touches. We've not even mentioned him yet.
No, we haven't. As you say, the most time we've mentioned him is this run over his head from Emi Martinez kick, hasn't he? Yeah. He's been pretty. He's not been pretty, but I think Villa have just been pretty poor in the final third because 20 minutes in, apart from that free kick and the swift counter with Buendia, they've done nothing in the Bologna half, have they? And looking at possession, it's just about 60%, and for Bologna. Well, that's because Villa have had it inside their own box a lot of times, haven't they, for large sequences. But you were speaking about it earlier about the results. Unai Emery, if it was a ball draw this evening, he'd walk away with a massive smile on his face because he'd know, well, we just need to win at Villa Park then, and you'd back them, wouldn't you? So he's a master of Europe. You spoke about Bayern going away and wanting to just, they should have, to me, have won 4 or 5-1. And I prefer watching that. Neutrals prefer watching that, but Unai Emery will sit and go, as long as we don't lose this evening, and even if we lose, as long as we lose by 1, we've got a chance.
Yeah, it's his Castro into the penalty area. He scuffs his strike. He's claiming for handball, but what a chance that was. Falls to Pabega, who hits it from distance. He smashes it straight into the chest of Onana, who goes down injured. I'm sure Pabega will be quite happy with that outcome after he got that push from him. But ball whips back in, and there's a volleyed attempt. Good save from Emi Martinez, who tips it behind for a corner. Well, first real chances of the game, and no surprise, it's Bologna knocking on the door.
Yeah, lovely ball from Bernardeschi. You spoke about the strength of his left foot. I think that shows how underrated he can be on his right boot, put it into a good area. It's a very acrobatic finish as well. I believe is it Miranda, the left back, who gets on the end of it, and he does well, as you say, because he hits it into the ground, doesn't he, which forces a great save from him, Martinez, but it loops up. Just watching back now, the injury for Onana, Miranda's involved. Paul's watching the handball that Castro was asking for. Again, comes off the back of Pau Torres. Again, when the sequence of pass of the arm is out, I can see why Castro initially would have asked for it, but yeah, it doesn't even come off the arm of the Spaniard. It's actually a good block from Pau Torres. But I think that's one of the things where Bologna will go, right, we've got a corner as well. If Bologna take the lead, Villa really need to up their acts.
Yeah, they definitely do. It feels like Aston Villa are almost just playing to keep this as low scored as possible. As we see a ball whipped in right onto Emi Martinez, he punches away. Buendia then clears only as far as Miranda, though, who plays it back to the halfway line. Freuler finds João Mario as Crystal Palace have a penalty at home to Fiorentina. Quite close tie. You feel like maybe two of the favourites coming up against each other in that one. And as we now see the ball go back to Lucimi, who's got options to the left if he can find them, but he ends up going pretty central towards Remo Freuler. Now it's with João Mario again. Onana back to his feet, ready to continue. Ball in behind, well intercepted by Tielemans. He's been taken down, but with that 22.5 minutes on the clock, we've reached the halfway stage of this first half. It's been all Bologna so far, it feels. Well, only creating maybe the 1 or 2 chances themselves. They've not necessarily been fantastic, but they're having all the ball. They're getting into the final third. That lot, it is 0-0 between Bologna and Aston Villa, and it will be Lewis to take you through to half time.
Cheers, Kieran. Yeah, it's been, as you say, spot on. All Bologna. It's been an interesting first half of the first half as well, because you always want to know how's Unai Emery responding and what tactics is he got up his sleeve. It's a free kick for Villa, just about in there, just outside their own penalty area almost. Say Unai Emery is right on the edge. I mean, Vincenzo Italiano is almost on the field out of their own technical areas. I mean, Martinez once again goes long, and once again it's a real poor kick. He's almost just put up into an area. That's a poor pass out though, and Tielemans picks it up, and Villa do get the ball back with Konza. Back into the Belgian Tielemans. Of course, that could be something maybe at the World Cup. Of course, Belgium, a duo of Tielemans and Onana at the base of midfield. I'm sure he'd be quite happy if you had 2 players who were constantly playing at club level. The chemistry is quite easy then to get it over into the side. Martinez, once again, he's going to go long. Let's see what this one comes up with. That's a better one to try and pick up Watkins. He nods it forward for Rogers. Lucimi has to deal with it. I think that's the first time out of maybe 5-6 times that Emi Martinez has gone long that he's picked someone out, and Rogers did well to nearly get on the end of it. Watkins nodded it on nicely for his teammate. They've won a throw in here of Aston Villa high up on the left hand side. Kieran spoke about a penalty for the Eagles at Crystal Palace, and they have made it 1-0 against Fiorentina. Another game in the Conference League. Mainz, the German side, are 2-0 up against Strasbourg, and you spoke about favourites. You'd have probably said Palace, Fiorentina and Strasbourg were the three favourites for the competition, and well, Strasbourg at the moment not heading out. Of course, we've got two-legged affairs, but really putting it up against them for the second leg for Gary O'Neill's side. The foul in João Mario, near enough in the corner there, watching back this chance for Miranda, just ever so well, and I think Martinez, because he hits it nicely off of the surface and it really hits that back. I think Martinez is more going safety first. I'm just going to put this behind for a corner, but that's been the best chance of the game, but we haven't had that real clear one-on-one chance yet.
No, we haven't. We've just seen that chance there from Miranda where it just falls the save from Martinez, which is one that you'd expect him to make. It was a little bit of a camera save in the end, wasn't it? But absolutely nothing in the final third from Aston Villa as of yet. They've got to get Rodgers on this ball. He's had only a few touches. Great touches though from Jonathan Rowe. Bologna have a chance.
Coming forward, could this be the biggest chance of the game to Castro? Back across the face of goal. He's cleared off the line there by Cash. That might have even gone over the line. Bologna run off celebrating. The referee, yes, it is over the line. Castro runs away. It will go down, I believe, as his goal, possibly. It might even go down as an own goal. After watching the replay, it's been all Bologna, as Kieran said, for the opening 20 minutes. Give it a few more minutes and Bologna have taken the lead. It looked like Matty Cash was just a second off, a moment off of clearing that, because I thought he had it in, but in the back of that it was. There might be a replay here for a possible foul on Rowan Cash. I don't think it is once again, but it was a good counter-attack from Bologna. Just a long ball up from Hegem, and I think it was just a bit of a mess at the back from Aston Villa. For the time being, Bologna 1, Villa 0.
Yeah, they'll check for an offside against Castro as well. It looks tight, but he just played it across the face of goal. Came off conscious so almost. Well, it only just crosses the line. It looked really close with Matty Cash. It even felt like Matty Cash was hesitant running back. He took his time to really go for the clearance. It's an interesting one. It had real backspin on the ball as well, but I pinpointed Jonathan Rowe as one of the real threats today for Bologna, and we just saw it there. The two touches to get away from Matty Cash and his man. Fantastic. We're going to see the goal decision again. It is just wow. It is just over the line. I mean, that is insane. That is why we have goal line technology. Literally, you can see the tiniest bit of grass between the white line and behind and the ball. That is insane.
That when you say game of inches,
wow,
that is exactly that, isn't it? I think that watching it back as well, the first we saw, there's a VAR goal check, so you're not missing anything. We're just waiting to get back underway.
I think they'll be checking the offside for Castro, which he may be actually.
Referee points to the
offside.
He is going to give the offside, isn't he? So Yuri Tielemans is having a word with the referee. He's a Swiss referee, Sandro Schara. So Aston Villa looks like they've got one, not off the hook, of course it is just a good decision, but at the moment of course we saw the goal line technology, and I think the same as you said, Castro's the one he's going, pointing to himself going, am I offside? And then yes, it looks like it was you. So again, what you would say as well is watching it back, so it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 0. The ball's found the back of the net again. I think Villa defensively were all over the shop at the back, so they get away with one there. But of course, offside is offside. That might be something that wakes Villa up. And Rodgers is on the ball now, trying to drive forward, takes it past 1 and 2. He thinks he's been fouled there by Ferguson. I don't think the referee has given it though, because Rodgers isn't happy about it. I think he's more probably fouled by Pobega more than Ferguson, just because they've both got arms all over each other. Has the Bologna skipper and Morgan Rodgers, but I'm looking back to say, so Castro's offside, apologies, the referee has given the free kick. Would you say that the pass is late from Rowe? Would you say the run from Castro's early, or a bit of both?
It was so tight, wasn't it? It's tricky. I think Rowe does really well. I think sometimes it can also be quite good defending as well from Aston Villa, in the sense that they stayed up, they stayed so strong in their line that Castro couldn't really hold back anymore. And Rowe played it really when he could. Yes, he could have played it that little bit earlier, but he might not have had a just as good opportunity. They can use it as real confidence though. They've been miles the better side, and that's a good challenge from Castro.
Castro putting Konza under pressure, plays it to Rowe. Here come Bologna, twists and turns, ball into the box! Wow. And it's off the underside of the bar. What an opportunity. Emi Martinez was all at sea. Bernadeschi gives away a foul there in the corner. Bologna right now, I think Aston Villa are counting the lucky stars. What a ball into the box from Rowe. It was a great strike on the underside of the bar. Again, I'm sure we might even see another goal line technology because it was very close. Of course, the referee shows it's not over the line. His watch wasn't beeping. It was Lewis Ferguson who's in a great area. Oh, what an opportunity that was. We spoke about a game of inches. I know it was offside, so it doesn't count, but to play devil's advocate, we're watching the offside now. That is so close for Castro as well. That is incredibly close. Of course, the ball was over the line. At the moment, this game, I said it, but this first 30 minutes, give or take, has been a game of inches from both sides.
Yeah, and we have to see that chance back again. What a move that would have been. Castro, fantastic pressure on Ezri Konsa, and then Jonathan Rowe. I actually thought on line viewing he picked the wrong pass. He's got a player in acres of space on the edge of the box. He intends to then just flash it across the face of goal. Got that little feint touch. Is Castro offside? Yes, he is again. Teammates are a little bit frustrated with him. So close to grabbing the lead. They've been the miles better side so far, and Anna's on the deck once again from his challenge with Pobega again.
Yeah, you've already said that's a clash to look out for, and it's living up to the billing. Ball forward quickly from Villa, finds Ollie Watkins, again a battle with Hegem. That's who he's been up against most of the evening so far, but this game, first 20 minutes Bologna were in control, but very much slowly in control, knocking it around, being the better side. Villa trying to play out from the back, but the last 10 minutes or so, it's really just opened up, has this game. Tielemans has gone down wanting a foul. I like how the referee is officiating this game, if I'm quite honest. A lot of times he's almost saying to the players, get up yourselves. Ball forward, Morgan Rogers goes down in the penalty area. I won't lie, I think he's got up and I don't even think himself is asking for the penalty. I think he's saying to Matty Cash, that's got to be a better ball for me. And Lucchini doesn't get away with one, but he's on a yellow card, of course, so he's got to be careful. He'll just be offside as well, Rogers. But if anything, he got up and he was more having a go at his right back, saying that's got to be a better piece of play. But to a degree, I think he goes down under his own weight there, and I think he's been given a yellow card for simulation. Yeah. I think he was almost trying to have a go at Cash to stop that happening, so the referee takes his eyes off the prize. But yellow card for Morgan Rogers due to simulation, looking for a penalty. So I think he almost got up and went, I've dived there. Maybe if I react differently instead of going to the ref asking for a penalty, he's going to forget about it. But now he doesn't. And now Rogers is on a yellow card.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful. He's more yellow cards than touches, it feels, in this game. He just can't get involved. Morgan Rogers balling behind, looking for Castro. They're claiming for offside again. He is offside again. He's just got to start to be a little bit smarter. He's a really good striker, a real nuisance, but he's been caught offside 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, the one that was a few moments ago when he was looking right down the line, that was really frustrating, I can imagine, as you said, for his teammates, only because he was asking for the ball and he was in an offside position, really poor from Castro. But as you said, he reminds me of a South American forward, presses down relentlessly. He's got a great work rate, of course, he's a great finisher and a great striker. Just over half an hour played here from the Renato Dell'Ara. Bologna 0, Aston Villa 0, quarterfinals of the Europa League. First leg from the long ball forward from Emi Martinez. And he finds the head of Lucchini. We're currently goalless, and at the moment, apart from Shakhtar and is at Alkmaar, they're the only goalless games. Every other game at the moment got a goal. Porto 1, Forest 1, Freiburg minute 2-0 against Celta Vigo at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace are 2 goals at 2. The good Mateta grabbed the goal from the penalty spot, and Tyreek Mitchell's made it 2 goals to 0 there from the English side against an Italian side. Very similar to what we've got this evening. Mainz are 2-0 up against Strasbourg as well. Myself and Kieran will do our best to keep you updated with the scores everywhere else this evening. But of course, our eyes are peeled to this evening's game. Once again, Castro making a real nuisance of himself and winning a free kick high up the field. Pau Torres gets a touch of the ball, but probably gets a whack at Castro first. And now, a dangerous free kick very high on the left-hand side for the hosts. Yeah,
good opportunity coming up for Bologna. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Can they find one of those big centre-halves? As we now see Emi Martinez lining up his wall. But let's see if they can create the opportunity here.
It's all about the delivery. It looks like it will be Lewis Ferguson to take the right-footed option, but Miranda the left-footed option takes. Not a bad delivery. But it's nodded away by Watkins as far as Jonathan Rowe, who's forced to go back more centrally into the feet of Freuler. Mario goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, and Bologna again, they're quite happy to have possession. I think they'd love to get a goal before half-time. Again, they're the home side. They want to make it more count this evening than Aston Villa do in terms of any attacking output. As well, have a look. Palace, I do believe it stood, but their second goal's gone to VAR, so keep a key eye on that one as well. Monroe back into Freuler. 35 minutes about to tick over on the clock. Just 10 minutes to go in the first half. It's been a lively first half. Bologna have been the better side, but again, Aston Villa just keeping in there. It's all the hallmarks and trademarks of an Unai Emery away classic, if you will, of a tactic battle. The Palace second has stood, so Palace are 2-0 go up against Fiorentina. This time next week, they will be in a similar situation to Aston Villa, going away to Italy in the second leg. That game will be on this service, of course, as well. Lucimi, Bologna playing up for the back. Less of a press on from Aston Villa, but again, you pointed out, I think as long as Rodgers is pressing intently against Hegem there, gives away fouls. Well, on a yellow card, that's not a yellow card, but you've got to think when you add the accumulation possibly of yellow cards there. You pointed out perfectly early on, Unai Emery will go, as long as we don't lose by too much, even if we lose by 1 goal, I think he'd probably take that, knowing what they can do at Villa Park. But if this finishes 0-0, yeah, he'd be quite happy as well, of course.
Yeah, he would be. But they've got to at least show some form of intent. They've got more than enough quality to go and win this game itself just on the night. So it's disappointing when you see sides really not go for it. But I mean, the Aston Villa fans will have known what to expect, and there's still a long time for that to change. Of course, for Aston Villa to really have their good moments, but it's still just Bologna that are ticking along, looking the better side as they're in possession now.
Well, Villa sometimes can be teams of halves, can't they? I can't remember when it was, but they visited Stamford Bridge, didn't they, against Chelsea, so poor in the first half. In the second half, they were 10 times the side that Chelsea were in they ended up winning that game, so you never know. I think you're spot on there that they could come out in the second half looking like a different side. Could Unai Emery's Villa, Freuler for options, and Villa are playing quite a high line but very deep at the same time. Ball forward, Digne intercepts, that's a poor pass, and straight back to Bologna. Bernardeschi, that's a poor pass looking forward for Rowe on the left hand side. Tielemans back to Pau Torres, and Digne on the ball as well. So almost that back four stay very deep. The two defensive midfielders doing that front four are given the license to get forward and link and interchange between the two. Been quite narrow at times as well. Looking at possession so far, just a shade under 60% for Bologna. 4 shots so far for Bologna, only the 1 on target. Of course, Lewis Ferguson's strike was off the underside of the bar as well, so that's not one that's going to count for anything. Miranda's, of course, was a really good opportunity. It was saved well by Martinez. Yet to have a shot on target, or yet to have a shot at all, I should say. Aston Villa, no corners as well, only the 1 so far for the Italian hosts. They've given away the ball though. Rodgers picks up on it, plays it out to McGinn on the right hand side. They need some support. The skipper cuts inside, goes for goal! Oh, wow. Just a whisker wide. What an opportunity that was. He's asking for a corner. Of course, Bologna is saying not a chance. Watch it back. It's curling, and unfortunately, it's just curling away from goal. Yeah,
it is. It's a good strike from John McGinn. First opportunity of the game for Aston Villa. Just seeing that chance back earlier on where they hit the bar. It was Lewis Ferguson. It's so almost. It just bounced almost ahead of the line rather than behind it. Really, really close. It would have been some goal.
I think you saw Emi Martinez's reaction there of the strike. He almost goes, ooh, what a way one there. Haven't we? Castro foul that time. Was it on Konza? Yes, it was. Castro, once again, making a bit of a nuisance of himself there. That one as well, he didn't even have eyes on the ball. He had eyes on Konza and just knocked him off the ball. Referee coming over, having a word with each other. And again, I like how the referees is officiating this match. We give the refs a lot of grief, so it's nice to give them a little bit of positivity. But Villa will get us back underway. Konza back into the feet of Martinez. That's the earlier result in the Conference League. Vallecano 3-0 victors at home to AEK Athens. That's a big result in the first leg there. Ball over the top looking for Watkins. He holds off Hegem well, but there is an offside as well. And again, I'm really not sure what he's on. That one, Martinez was pressed into going long, so I get that a bit more, that the ball's not going to be on the money for Watkins. But again, we're approaching probably double digits now where he's gone long, and maybe apart from one where Watkins won the header, he's been very poor with his his delivery and long passing as Emi Martinez.
Yeah, he's very much been long ball so far, hasn't he, Emi Martinez? But you don't have a target man up there. It's not like Tammy Abraham is leading the line to really chase it, so it's not working so far for Aston Villa, unless it's just a case if you just get that ball as far up the pitch as possible. Even if you give it away, it'll take Bologna a little bit of time to reshuffle their way forwards again, because Aston Villa are out of possession, very well structured, very well organised, and defensively quite sound so far, but Bologna is still enjoying the majority of it.
Yeah, they're knocking it around with a lot of confidence, the Italian side, and they're quite happy. Again, just to go from side to side, almost in this 4-3-3, the wingers are really wide, stretching the play, the midfield free. Ferguson, the skipper, Freuler sits a bit deeper, Paul Beggar, similar to Ferguson, they almost just attack and support the wide areas. Half of the time we say Freuler drops deep in between the centre backs. It's very just a classic 4-3-3, simple as it gets, but actually sometimes simple can be an easy way of creating chances. Losing the ball there though are Bologna. At the time it was João Mario, and they wanted to counter-attack the Villa, but Buendia just almost went in a circle and ran into a cul-de-sac there, and still keep the ball to Villa. But Bologna, again, they're very well drilled. Kieran spoke about Villa, of course they are well drilled, but so Bologna as well defensively in how they want to press. I think as well, we're just over 40 minutes played here at the Renato Dallara, and I think that maybe both teams would be happy with a 0-0. Maybe Bologna would have wanted that first goal. They've created enough chances to possibly have an opener. They did have the ball in the back of the net, but offside for Castro in the build-up, chopped that off. Ball forward to Rodgers, does well at first, but then just runs into Remo Freuler. There's a lovely pass out to Jonathan Rowe. Kieran spoke about how lively he can be and has been, and he's been probably one of the better players for Bologna. Puts the ball into the back sticks, heads go up, Buendia has to deal with it. Flicks it over there to Bernardeschi and then boots it long. It's not a great clearance. Freuler will keep it alive, runs it back into a dangerous area. Torres gets his head up, plays it down the right-hand side. Watkins had made his run centre. If anything, they both locked eyes, didn't they?
Yeah.
Watkins put his head down to go central, and Torres just went the wrong way, really. But you've already given him a lot of praise, and I can't add enough to it that Rowe, for me, whenever he gets on the ball, he's that player that you're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I think he's caused Matty Cash a lot of problems. If anything, they've just not given Rowe the ball enough. Speaking of Rowe being good, he's just taken one of the worst throws you'll ever see. Here come Villa.
Watkins almost dragging on his back there, Freuler. That might even be a yellow card after this play is done and dusted. Tielemans looking for options, and that's curse of the commentator. Look how good Rowe's doing. We can't even take a throw in and place it into the Aston Villa man. Still coming forward, our Villa with Cash on the right-hand side. McGinn goes down the byline, fizzes one into the box. Miranda has to deal with it, clears it away. First corner of the game coming up for Aston Villa, and that's what maybe Villa are relying on. Look as well, we'll wait for Bologna to make a mistake, we'll pounce on it. Watkins did well because he was almost piggybacking Freuler. Corner coming up for Villa.
Yeah, corner coming up, and yeah, Ollie Watkins did pretty well holding it up. When he had the ball, Ollie Watkins has been okay for Aston Villa so far. He's just not had much of it. There's definitely no chances so far. See this in-swinging corner ready to be taken.
B. McGinn puts it into the back post. Onana open, ball back into the box. It's a good opportunity, but blocked away. Bologna are furious. They think that Onana has found his man in the box. We'll see, watching it back. Onana makes a run. Poor Beggar just takes a dive. Be honest, he knows he's lost Onana. If anything, he runs into his own player, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's terrible defending from Bologna. Onana just gets away from his man. It's a really good, well-worked corner. I think, unfortunately, Bologna just have too many players. Maybe if Onana could have nodded it back in instead of taking that first touch, that could have been a chance. Bologna aren't happy. But again, to me, poor Beggar's just understood, I can't get there. I'm going to go down and maybe win a free kick.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not going to be happy, but I mean, Pavega's looking for it, isn't he? There's barely too much contact, so good refereeing. This next corner whipped in now.
Tielemans into the back post, keeper misses it, and Ezri Konza nods it in the back of the net. There's shouts for a foul in the 6-yard box as well, but the Aston Villa defender runs away to the corner. They've been second best for 43 minutes, but sometimes all they can take is a ball into the box. A mistake from Bologna. That's exactly what it was from Federico Raviglia, and it is Aston Villa who take advantage. The goalkeeper comes to claim, completely whiffs at it. Konza just nods it in the back of the net. Aston Villa have the lead. It's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1.
Yeah, and what on earth is the goalkeeper doing? Because there's no one really near him, and he completely misjudges the flight of the cross. Onana and Pobega both go down off the ball once again, battling with each other. Lucimi doesn't jump. Ezri Konsa is not really known for his aerial ability, for his attacking aerial ability as well, but there he is with a rare goal for him, and the cameras linger on Revalia for one reason. It's his mistake, and Aston Villa have the lead despite it being against the run of play.
Well, it's only his first goal this season. He's spot on, not known for his goal scoring prowess. He's only scored now 11th goal, just into double digits for Aston Villa. It's his first goal in the Europa League as well, as far as you can see. Of course, played some Conference League football and played, of course, in the Champions League last year. Did get a goal in the Champions League, did Konsa. And he's the lead for Villa. I do believe there is a quick VAR check being underway, because we are about to get back underway, Bologna to kick off. And sorry, they might be even just waiting for the football. So the VAR check might be done and dusted. But it's Ezri Konsa's first goal of the season, the difference maker after Revalia with a mistake at the back. The English defender getting on the score sheet there, and I know we all love a bit of XG, but that will be a massive XG. Only 0.43 of an XG chance. I thought that would be more close to 0.8 with how they usually are given. 45 minutes have been played here at the Renato Delara. It is Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1. 2 minutes of stoppage time, and here come Bologna. It's as cliche as it comes, but goals change games. Here comes Jonathan Rowe, cuts inside. Shot at goal is blocked by Onana, and now there might be a counter-attack on here for Villa. Rodgers driving forward. Great tackle at the back there from Remo Freuler, ever experienced defensive midfielder. But goals do change games, and now as well, because it's so late in the first half, there's never a bad time to score, but I think the back end of the first half is a very good time to score. Vincenzo Italiano, whatever he was about to say at half time, you might as well rip up and start again.
Yeah, start again. And they just need to create more Bologna, because they've been good enough to be level or in the lead. They don't deserve to be losing over this first half. Just a lapse of concentration. As much as we're crediting Bologna, they've only had the 4 shots themselves and 1 on target. That's a bit of a hit and hope ball, and then Onana's just clattered into Pobega. Those two will be sick of the sight of each other by the end of today, getting prepared to see each other again next week.
Yeah, it'll be a good battle. It's already been a good battle the first 45. Of course, realistically, as Kieran pointed out, of course, it's two-legged affair. We're only a quarter time. If it feels like an NBA or an American football game over the 2 legs, doesn't it? It's only at the end of the first quarter when we do hit half time. But you are right, it's been a real battle between Pobega and the Belgian Onana. Long ball forward, looking for Watkins once again. That one's a lot better and a lot more on the money from Emi Martinez. Just less than 15 seconds to go until we do hit the at least 2 minutes of stoppage time. Dino, has he brought down João Mario there? Yes, he has. I think Italiano trying to say go long. We've got 20 seconds left of this first half. Into the penalty box. Bernardeschi, Pau Torres clears it away. Will it be a corner? Yes, and this looks like this is the last chance of the first 45. Yeah,
it's going to be a corner coming up for Bologna. Will they have time to take it? The 2 minutes of added time are up, and the referee seems like he's going to allow it, so may as well just swing this one in.
Looks like it'll be Bernardeschi. Luke Ferguson is there as a short option. Again, I think I'm right with you. Just get it in the box. Even if Villa clear it, get it in the box. Pack that box. Villa aren't going to hit on the counter attack. Bernardeschi with the in-swinger. Decent delivery, heads go up. Martinez will jump up for it, and I assume that will be the last moments of the first half. A first half that Bologna have dominated with possession and had a few chances. Had a goal ruled out for an offside for Santiago Castro, but a mistake at the back from Revalia in goal from a corner. Yuri Tielemans right on the head of Ezri Konsa. At half time, it is Unai Emery's side who lead. After the first 45 minutes of the quarter-finals of the first leg of the Europa League, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1.
Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who've certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Juan Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though, but Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Conte. It's Bologna who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net, it was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Conte with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header before half-time going into the break, 1-0. Half-time in Italy, it's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's a goal right before half-time against the run of play from Ezri Konsa. Bologna, who certainly enjoyed more of the ball and a lot more of the game itself. Very limited chances for both sides though. But Miranda forced a save from Emi Martinez halfway through the first half. Bologna did have the ball in the back of the net. It was then ruled out for offside, but Ezri Konsa with a bullet header. And we will leave that just there because we are back underway in Italy for this one. It's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 1 in this Europa League quarter-final first leg. It's Ezri Konsa's header right before half-time that separates the two sides. As Pobega is instantly on the ball. Bologna will be desperate to level this one up and even take the lead with this being their home leg. Jonathan Rowe comes inside, is instantly getting on the front foot up against Onana. Plays it to the left for Miranda. Quick start from Bologna to this half. Ball back towards Jonathan Rowe. Turns onto his right. Down the line for Miranda. Opens it up. Miranda turns away from his man. Still going is the Spaniard. Plays it into the middle for Pobega. Lays it off for Miranda again. Now it's going to be Rowe who's driving with it. Good ball control. Good start to the half from Jonathan Rowe. He goes down. That should have been a free kick. Nothing given in the end. Really hard done by there. I think the landing was quite poor and awkward for him also. And the referee's going to stop it. I think potentially for a head injury. I think he landed face front onto his face. Should have been a free kick. Quick start to this half though. It remains myself, Kieran Graham, alongside Lewis Raftery to bring you coverage of this one. Lewis, maybe should have been a free kick, but a quick start to the half specifically from Bologna's left winger.
100%. They were very good in the first half of Bologna, weren't they? We were speaking at half-time that, of course, they didn't have anywhere near the chances, maybe one-on-one, and the high-quality chances they would have wanted, but yeah, Rowe was very good, of course. Castro was a menace in that first 45 as well. Just wanted it back, as you say. I think it would have been a soft free kick, but I also think it is a free kick just because of what you see, the these days in terms of what free kicks are given and what aren't given. And as you see, almost falls, unfortunately, kind of face first on the right boot of Morgan Rogers and takes a bit of a whack in the face. But I mean, Villa, they're looking to come forward now with McGinn into Buendia looking for a second.
Yeah, and they come down the left-hand side. Buendia's ball over the top isn't the best. Trying to keep it alive. Great first touch from the head of Morgan Rogers to keep the attack alive. But then his next touch is poor. I think he backs out of that because he knows he's on a yellow card. He's got to be careful staying with Jonathan Rowe this whole way. Jonathan Rowe still driving forward. He gets the better of Morgan Rogers, who has to leave him in the end, or he would have brought him down. Pabega hits it from the edge of the box. It just evades the top corner and goes over the bar. Well, I was worried for Morgan Rogers that whole way that he was going to get sent off and bring him down. But in the end, that strike goes just over the bar.
No, it's great from Jonathan Rowe. Down the left-hand side, you were already singing his praises in the first half and how good he was against Roma in that two-legged affair. And he's been brilliant at the start of this second half, which was good in the first 45. Looks like it's almost when a player says, just to themselves, that look, I'm gonna take some responsibility here. I'm gonna try and drive my side forward. And I think he's spot on there about Morgan Rogers is I don't think he does anything because he knows I'm on a yellow card. I can't afford even the slightest little tap of the ankles. I can't do anything. So I've almost got to let him go past me and hope my defenders help me out.
Yeah, balling behind from Tielman's. Really good start to this half, though, isn't it? It just feels like there's a bit more speed, a bit more pace than what we saw in the first. Because, yes, there was some decent moments. Just felt quite a flat first half for a Europa League quarter-final. We wanted it a little bit more. And when I'm coming off the back of covering a Real Madrid Bayern Munich game, I'm not saying I expect that level when you see the likes of Michael Olise looking unstoppable for a whole 90 minutes. I'm not saying I expect the same from John McGinn on the right-hand side, but we just want that intensity, that little end-to-end stuff, which is easy to ask for as commentators sat here watching, but it definitely seems that more slower tactical game of football.
It does, and again, it's the coaches involved, isn't it? When I look at the likes of, just compare that game that you did on Tuesday, you look at Vincent Kompany, he's the one that, I think, regardless who you play, for example, if a team scores 4 goals, I think that's when teams slow down. Bayern Munich won 8-0 against Wolfsburg in the league this year. They will go and go and go until they can't go anymore. So that's the mentality of Bayern Munich, and as a neutral, that's what I want my team to play. That's what everyone wants their team to play, don't they? Whereas Villa, again, it's a different mentality, but that's the thing, it's a mentality. If we want to go forward, we want to score goals, and sometimes Villa, when they go 1-0 up, can really go into the shell. I think you need to go and get a second, and that's when you go a little bit. But look, the 1-0 up away from home at the moment, all going to plan, but you just feel in the second half, especially as you said, how Bologna have started, they'll create that one chance, and it's whether they take advantage of it or not.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers jumps for the header. Ollie Watkins battling for it. Lucini plays it across to Miranda. Jonathan Rowe with a headed flick on. Matty Cash has just clattered him. That's a naughty challenge. A really, really naughty one. And Matty Cash, I think he really struggles. We see him every weekend. We cover the Premier League non-stop. He struggles against a winger like this. A confident, tricky winger that's willing to just use pace and got all the confidence in the world. I think Matty Cash is a great player. He's just as good going forwards, though, isn't he? His defensive ability, yes, it's good. It can definitely be better. A natural winger growing up as a player, even at Nottingham Forest was a winger. But he's really struggling again against Jonathan Rowe.
He is, and I think he's one of them as well. He's got a great work rate about him, which helps him play at that position, but it can be found out, of course, as you say sometimes. I think you're correct with that, because again, he's more of a he's similar to I think he's similar to Dino on the other side. They're both more forward-thinking full-backs, aren't they? When Emery first came in, he sometimes would play Konza on the right, wouldn't he, as a defensive full-back, if anything. Villa have won the ball high up the field. Yeah,
and they're in the penalty area, and Ollie Watkins is still going. He's slotted it through the legs of the goalkeeper, and Ollie Watkins, who I think it's fair to say he's having quite the underwhelming season, will not care right this second. He's got a bit of a push to get back into that England squad, doesn't he? By doing that, he's got to score goals. He's got a goal there. He puts it through the legs of the keeper. Once again, they catch out Bologna with a mistake at the back. And Aston Villa, a second goal away from home in the first leg. He's going to feel like they've hit the jackpot, isn't it? 2-0, but what are Bologna doing?
He's terrible at the back. Long ball from left to right from Miranda for Hegem. It's a terrible pass, but Hegem doesn't cover himself in glory. Credit to Watkins, because if he doesn't probably put that in the back of the net, all of his teammates are looking at him going, why did you not pass it to me? I could have tapped it in there. Great pressing from the front from Villa. So lovely finish through the legs of Raviali for Ollie Watkins. the goalkeeper, he does all he can do because it's a one-on-one. He comes out, makes himself big, but also leaves a big gap in those legs as well. As you say, it's only his 11th goal of the season. He's second in the Europa League, so he'll want a lot more in terms of that. But in terms of his last few seasons, 17 goals in all comps, 27 in all comps. As you say, with at this time of the season, going into the World Cup, for example, if he can hit some fine form at the back end of the season, I mean, for so long you would say who are the two strikers for England? Well, Harry Kane starts and Ollie Watkins is your backup, and it's worked very well. This year, you'd probably say, I would say a Dominic Calvert-Lewin would probably be the most informed second striker for England. But if at the back end of the season Watkins can start putting some goals away, he could very much find himself back, definitely on the plane and maybe in the plans for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Watkins comes back in. It screamed to me almost a play from Thomas Tuchel of, this is my way of trying to kick Ollie Watkins back into gear, sharpen him up that little bit more, because he's not looked sharp for Aston Villa over the period of this season. So maybe that's just what he needed. I wouldn't say Calvert-Lewin or Solanke impressed in the game against Uruguay when they both played almost a half each. Calvert-Lewin missed a great chance in that one. As you see, Tielemans turns away from his man. Pau Torres finds Onana, goes back to his goalkeeper. And you just know what Aston Villa's approach now is going to be. They're really going to frustrate Bologna, and they're probably going to try something this league. The more goals, the merrier. They don't need more goals now.
No, as we were speaking about, only Emery would have been happy with a 0-0 draw. So
yeah.
anything.
We even said maybe a 1-0 loss, get back to Villa Park.
Yeah, as you said, as long as you don't get trounced, he'll accept that, because I think he'll think, right, we can definitely win by 1. And we would probably back ourselves in extra time in our home game, and they'll probably back themselves to win by 2. So
yeah,
you're spot on there. Now they've got 2-0 lead. You're spot on at the moment. Emi Martinez has it on the edge of the area. Unai Emery will just be saying, look, if you concede, okay, just don't make sure it's very similar to Bologna there. Make sure you don't make a mistake leading to a Bologna goal. If Bologna, for example, open you up and score, okay, there's nothing to do about that. But don't make a mistake. Don't let Bologna back in this game, because you do feel with a long way to go in the second half. Let's say Bologna get a goal before the 70th minute, you might back them to go and get another goal before the 90th, wouldn't you, with momentum on their side. So Villa, very good at managing games, but they've got to do it excellently this evening now. Yeah,
they're quite heavy favourites to win the Europa League. Aston Villa, of course, pretty comfortable in that. Well, what's now a top 5 spot for the Champions League. You'd be shocked if Aston Villa and kicking around that Champions League football next season, wouldn't you? It's still 1-1 between Porto and Nottingham Forest. 2-0 to Freiburg at home to Celta Vigo 2. But 54.5 minutes on the clock. Aston Villa having that 2-0 lead away from home against Bologna. And as you see, Tielemans ready to take this free kick, just taking some seconds off the clock, taking his time in doing so. He whips it in, looking towards Watkins. Poor delivery this time, easily headed away by Peberga, and now it's going to be Freuler. Plays it to the right for Bernardeschi, driving forwards. He's up against Buendia, still going. Good challenge from Aston Villa's number 10 on Bologna's number 10. So good battle at this stage. It's a case of Bologna have to now open up. They need at least the 1 goal. Aston Villa did win the reverse fixture, which they did feature against each other this season in the league stage. It was 1-0 to Aston Villa in that one, the goal scorer being John McGinn. So they'll hope for another clean sheet. Well, they've got options on the bench. They've got the likes of Cambiaghi and Orsolini. Orsolini doesn't seem to start in Europe, which is interesting, because I think he's probably their best player, but he's always on the bench when it comes to Europe. But a long ball over the top to Ollie Watkins. He's up against Hegem completely on his own. It's great play from Watkins. He then slides it in for Rogers. Goes for goal. It's over the bar. That would have been special, because he has no real run-up. What a goal that would have been. Great first touch. Hits it straight away, almost into the top corner in the roof of the net. It's just over, but Ollie Watkins was brilliant in the build-up there.
Excellent from the both of them. And as you said, I think as well what Watkins does now is when it's 0-0 and the balls are lumping up to you and you're working hard, I think it can be very frustrating, can't it? When you're 2-0 up and you've scored as a striker, you're probably a smile on your face battling away with centre-backs and running the channels, because you know it's working and you know you're 2-0 up and you're confident. Whereas, inside the first 15 minutes, you could just see Watkins were a bit frustrated because it's 0-0, nothing's gone for me, I'm making these runs, my teammates aren't finding me. Whereas now you sit there and go, right, we're 2-0 up, confidence is flowing, I want to make those runs, I want to go and get a third from the team, I'd like to get a second myself. So it's very interesting how it's going. And you're right, Rogers, he just takes a touch on his left foot, doesn't he, and just hits it with his right. what a goal that would have been. You're spot on. But Villa again looking to come forward with Buendia.
Yeah, Buendia plays it in behind for Morgan Rogers into the penalty area. That's a clumsy challenge. No penalty given on live viewing. The VAR team are going to have a real long look at that because it looked really clumsy in the back of Morgan Rogers. The play continues for the time being. We'll definitely look at a replay of it very soon, hopefully. But Aston Villa just have the ball. The referee's not made any indication that it's definitely no penalty as of yet. He keeps pointing towards his ear in that sense, so maybe they're still checking it. Aston Villa now in possession still. It's almost like they've got better, Aston Villa, in this half. Now they've scored again. There's going to be a free kick for Villa. Are they still checking it? Well, on live viewing, I thought penalty.
I agree. Watching it back. Well, I mean, the word you
Does he lose his footing and then get tripped? That is so hard.
And what I will say, I think you hit the nail on the head.
There, and then he gets tripped. I think he loses his footing, but Bernardeschi is still so clumsy really quickly.
Well, I think that the word you use, clumsy, you hit the nail on the head. It is clumsy from Bernardeschi because you can see from a mile away what's going here, can't you? One player's going to get there first, the other's going to almost just tumble into the back of him. Yeah. Bernardeschi is poor. I can see why it would be a free kick comes in from Tielemans. It's catching practice. It is one of them where, if I'm perfectly honest, I think I would say penalty personally, but if you said to me you don't think that's a penalty, that's a very close one. And I mean, to be fair, I think maybe the VAR have also said to the referee, look, you thought it wasn't on the field, it's that close, we're not even going to suggest go look at it, just look, you thought that, it's a very close one, and we'll go with what you said on the field perhaps. Yeah,
potentially that is the case. I think the fact that Morgan Rogers, you can tell, loses his footing, but only within about 2 seconds, if that, then gets clipped. I think it saves him. I think if he's still running at full speed, full power, with full control of his own legs in that sense, or body, I think he's giving the penalty because it felt like a winger's challenge.
Oh yeah, forward tackle, everything apart that it was, wasn't it? Spot on. You were just speaking about Orsolini, and again, he doesn't really start in Europe, and why he doesn't, I'm not too sure. Last season he got 15 goals in the Serie A. He's an excellent goal scorer, and Bernardeschi, for me, is a great player, a lot of experience. Maybe that's why he started in Europe, but Orsolini for Bernardeschi makes all the sense in the world. Watkins and Hegem battling away. Foul given against Watkins, I think that's quite harsh.
Yeah, just battling with each other. Well, he's been the best player on the pitch, in my opinion, Ollie Watkins, today so far. Overall, I think in a game that was quite difficult for a striker, some of the balls that were put up to him in the opening, 30 minutes or so, it's just ridiculous from his teammates, but he's made a real nuisance of that back line, especially in this second half. So credit to Ollie Watkins in that sense, and has a goal to show for it as well. We're approaching the hour mark of this one. Bologna 0, Aston Villa 2. A much better watch in this second period so far. Freuler recycles it towards the right hand side. He's got Ferguson for company, uses the Scottish skipper. Still 1-1 between Porto and Forest as well. The good news for Forest in that game is Chris Wood's back finally. It seems like an age that he's been missing, and they definitely have missed him as well. That clinical forward. As the referee's now having a word with Buendia, who's laughing his head off at something that the referee's told him. He obviously doesn't agree with something, Emiliano Buendia, as we now see Bologna have possession. Ball to the left-hand side for Lucimi, who's playing it to the left again for Jonathan Rowe. Sharp turn from him to get away from Matty Cash again, but they can't advance with it. They're struggling in that sense. It's almost like they need to maybe sacrifice one of those three midfielders, it feels. Pabega, though, puts the ball towards the back post. Digne heads it back to his goalkeeper. Very calm from the Frenchman.
Yeah, that's just the experience there of Digne, isn't it, that he knows as well. Even when that ball comes in, you think, oh, Digne might leave this, he might put it out for a corner and nods it back to Emi Martinez. Really good play from them there, but I think you're right, or maybe at least saying to one of those three midfielders, get further forward, Pabega, get into the box, Ferguson, get into the box, stop being a midfield three, more of an attacking midfielder, 4-2-3-1-esque, similar to what Villa are, or as you say, let's just say bring Orsolini on for a midfielder and have him or Bernardeschi as one of the more supporting players for Castro. They've got it back to Rowe now though, looking lively.
Yeah, and here is Jonathan Rowe, cuts inside, he's onto his right foot, gets a bit of space and he puts it wide. In the end, he'll be disappointed not to at least test Emi Martinez from that distance, because he gets a good bit of space that opens up for him. Just gets way too much on it. Martinez, he takes a risk, doesn't he, in the stance that he doesn't really go to make the save. There's no way he could have known that was going wide, because it wasn't that far off, but it does go wide in the end.
almost looked like quite sarcastic from him. It was like, oh, this is going wide, isn't it? I think you're right there. If I'm a goalkeeper, I'm not saying you've got to dive, but yeah, the reaction was, he knew, and the power that Rowe got behind it was fantastic. It was just, yeah, the execution a little bit poor. Watkins again up against Hegem. That's been about Pobega and Onana. We had some great battles on the field this evening as well from the Renato Dallara. But what I will say, again, it's very, that's a poor pass from Konza. Castro doesn't get there though. But I said before, what Unai Emery was saying, for example, if Konza plays that pass ball, Castro picks up, it scores, he would say, you've made a mistake, just don't let them back into it with a mistake.
Yeah, you now see Bernardeschi on the right-hand side. He's still going, cuts onto his right, then onto his left. He's still on the attack, Bernardeschi. Back heel in behind is well deflected away. Now it's going to be Digne, who finds Buendia, back towards T Elements, who clips it long looking for Rogers. Back heel looking in behind, well intercepted by Miranda, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Well, Bologna have to dominate the remaining stages of this game. 62.5 minutes on the clock. With this being Bologna's home leg, need to get something going, of course, as we see Ferguson back towards Hegem once again, and Freuler's just saying to his team, we've got to move up, we've got to start to create. But Aston Villa is so solid out of possession at the moment. Of course, the winner of this plays the winner of Porto and Nottingham Forest. Could be an all-English tie, so let's wait and see for that one. And then on the other bracket, it's the winner of Braga Betis against Freiburg or Celta Vigo. So you feel like the favourite comes from this bracket, doesn't it? Well, it does in terms of the favourite being Aston Villa, but even if on the other side you think Porto or Forest could definitely get the better of those are the four sides that we just mentioned. As we now see Hegem, who brings it down on the turn, then plays it to the right again. Aston Villa starting to sit very deep at the moment, but once again, Bologna, they just can't create at the moment. As I say, that Bernardeschi long ball, well intercepted by Ezri Konsa. It falls towards Pobega, battling with Onana. Again, Castro turns away from his man. He goes for goal, takes a deflection, and it's into the hands of Martinez pretty comfortably.
Yeah, once again, you spoke about that midfield three. That's good from Pobega getting in as almost a striker's position, because I mean the midfielder's a big menace in there, isn't he? And cause a lot of problems. Can the 26-year-old, about 6'2", give or take, Martinez, and Aston Villa playing out from the back dangerously here, but of course confidence is high. Poor pass from Cash. Onana picks it up, but once again, Villa living dangerously. Yeah,
they are taking those risky passes. Like I said, in the first half, ball up towards Watkins. He does really well, and a sharp turn from him. Brilliant from Ollie Watkins to get away from his man. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Ollie Watkins, brilliant. Buendia's been pulled. He's been taken down. Yellow card for Pobega, but Ollie Watkins, he's just looking brilliant this half.
I know it's going to sound as cliche as it comes, but what confidence strikers get from goals. Yeah. He was having a good game, wasn't he? But since he scored that second, as you said, I think he was, I'd say, one of the best players on the pitch. Since that goal, he's been the best player on the pitch, hasn't he? The confidence it has given him. He's had the beating of Hegem a few times as well, so I think that gives him a bit of confidence. But he's been absolutely fantastic, and at the moment, if we are to get a third goal in this game, you spoke about Villa actually looking better after going 2-0 up. You'd say Villa are probably better odds to making it 3-0 than it being 2-1.
Yeah, as we now see the long ball go up from Jonathan Rowe, who clears his lines. Porto 1 in the end, gifts possession straight back towards Yeri Tielemans. 65 minutes on the clock. If you are just tuning in, Bologna 0, Aston Villa 2. From the first 4, you could almost say the first maybe 35 to 40 minutes. If you used to say that scoreline, we'd maybe think you're joking, wouldn't we, with how dominant Bologna were looking. But I think quality's just shown. Patience. It's almost like this is what Unai Emery wanted, just to stay patient. Ball in behind for Ollie Watkins. Great turn from him. He's almost brought down. He looked offside to me in the end. I'm not sure if the flag's gone up. He never gets his shot off. Maybe Buendia picked the wrong pass, but there was a nibble at the ankles there, and he never goes down.
No, he doesn't. I think as well, I agree with you. I think he was just offside to a degree. Maybe it wasn't given, but maybe it's just play on to a degree. But I think he's always trying to get on his right foot, isn't he? I think he's always trying to open up his body and go on his right foot. I feel if he takes just a touch to his left, hits it low driven on his left foot, that would have been a better chance. But again, that's just, I think you say, maybe just the quality showing through of Villa at the moment. The qualities with Jonathan Rowe trying to take it past Martin Cash. Gives away a foul. I think that's pretty poor. But it looks like Bologna are already in 2 subs as well.
Yeah, I think that's Matty Cash's best moment up against Jonathan Rowe. Jonathan Rowe almost takes a brilliant touch on the volley, diagonal ball, looks to chest it round him. Cash just doesn't dive in like he usually does. Gives him that little bit of a yard, allows him to turn. He's a quick player, Matty Cash. Just got his body in front, he was physical, drew the foul much better from the Polish international. Wins the free kick. Changes coming up though for the home side, and much needed ones as well. Pavega and Ferguson are making way for Orsolini and Morrow. So what I'd said maybe about 10 minutes ago, maybe sacrifice one of those midfield three for a more attacking play. They've done that, so they now have 4 forwards on the pitch and 2 midfielders. Morrow's going to sit essentially with Freuler, and then you've got maybe Bernadeschi to go more central. I think he has. I think Bernadeschi's going to go that little bit closer towards Castro, and then Orsolini on the right hand side. Castro just getting some treatment.
Yeah, I think Castro as well. Unfortunately, to a degree, what was really good about Bologna in that first half is I think Castro had his fingerprints over everything. That he was pressing down, he was hounding down that Aston Villa defence a lot. He was dropping deep, wasn't he? Whereas Castro, we've hardly mentioned him in the second half, really, haven't we? Jonathan Rowe's been very good. That first 5 minutes were great from Bologna, but ever since Aston Villa grabbed their second goal through Watkins on the 51st mark, it's not been all Villa, but Bologna have done really nothing.
Yeah, they haven't. They've not done anything this second half, it feels. The only times they've maybe looked dangerous is when they've got Jonathan Rowe involved. Buendia it is, that's gone down under the challenge from Hegem, just catches the heel of him. Well, we're seeing back the goals now. Well, it was a big mistake from Ravalia. No one was near him. I don't know how he judged that cross so wrong. He was nowhere near getting his hand to it. Edric Consu with just a really nice header into an empty net. Looks an easy finish, but you see players miss those all the time, don't you? And then the second one, a real big mistake at the back again. And Ollie Watkins just slipped it through the legs of the goalkeeper, and Italiano could only really have his hands on his head. But with that, 68.5 minutes on the clock, we reached the halfway stage of this second half. Well, Aston Villa are loving life in Italy at the moment, of course, ahead of their second leg next week, which will be at Villa Park. They'll be hoping they can retain this double lead as they're still on the attack. I'll give Lewis in a moment as we see Buendia with a strike that goes quite a way over the bar, but it is still 2-0 to Aston Villa, and it will be Lewis to take through to full time.
Cheers, Kieran. Yeah, it's been a really good watch, hasn't it, so far? And I think, as you say, the first half, it was a good half of football. It always felt like the first half of a first leg, and the second half, it just upped a little bit. Of course, as well, that mistake as well, you say, from Ravalia has almost changed the game, but goals change games, and in the second half, Bologna have been a bit more front-footed, but Villa, as Kieran pointed out, just maybe showing that better quality in the second half. And again, pouncing on mistakes by Bologna. Both goals have been mistakes at the back, haven't they, by Vincenzo Italiano's side. The first one, the corner, the goalkeeper making a mistake, and Edric Consu, not an easy header because he actually realised you can't really see the ball coming over the goalkeeper. He's just in a good position and gets just the slightest of headers on it into an empty net, and if he would have missed it, it would have been down as a big chance missed. But it wasn't the easiest as well when you kind of watch it back, maybe from his angle, for example. And then with Watkins' goal, it was a bad pass to Hegem and pounced upon. He tried to cleared it off Buendia. Watkins put it through the legs of the goalkeeper to make it 2-0. So to a degree, you'd say, right, Bologna have been their own worst enemy with mistakes. Tielemans with a foul there on Castro. As Kieran said, received a bit of treatment. He's back on the field now, though. I don't know, a bloody nose or something like that, but the Belgian just a tad late to the ball there, and brings down the Bologna number 9. Bologna coming forward, if anything, to a degree, especially because the away leg, as Kieran said, is at Villa Park. I feel they have to almost take the risk of going forward in the possibilities you might concede a third, because they need at least one goal this evening going into the second leg. It's 2-0. I don't really see a way back. Rowe, pass Cash, great play, cuts inside, goes for a strike that was well off target, blocked away though. The attack is kept alive. Poor pass from Morrow, and here come Aston Villa. Digne picks it up out to the left hand side for Ollie Watkins. Could they grab a third of Villa here in the second half? Watkins drives forward, it's forced a little bit too wide. The attack is still on. Back to Digne. Tielemans, ball over the top for a moment there. Buendia back into Tielemans, and the counter-attack comes to nothing, but Villa are very happy to just go back and knock the ball around. And do you think maybe Vincenzo Italiano will be thinking, we've got to take that risk looking for the goal. Here they come once again. Villa Buendia with a strike at goal. Just a few inches over them. It was always rising. Buendia now starting to really get involved in this Villa attack. Goal kick coming up from Bologna. And Italiano, do you be thinking he'll be saying now, right, we've got to sacrifice. If we concede a third, okay, but we've got to sacrifice that possibility in terms of going forward because they need at least one goal this season.
They do. They really need to push for it. If they really push for it in these next 20 minutes and they don't get it, they can think, right, you can maybe take positives from the first half and try cause an upset at Villa Park. Because, I mean, it can happen. Anything can happen in these European fixtures. But they've got to go for it while they've got the opportunity at home. But Aston Villa, they just look too secure at the moment.
They look very confident, don't they, on the ball. As Kieran noted, they look more confident it's going 2-0 up, and usually that's the opposite with Unai Emery's side. They usually go 1-0 up. I usually think they sit back a little bit and allow teams to come on to them. Here's a free kick just inside the Bologna half. Foul on Buendia. I think he's just sorting out his boots and socks. Villa get to go to the bench a few minutes ago, maybe 5 or so, for the host. They went to the bench with a double change with Orsolini and Moro coming on. Villa do have a lot of options, and I can imagine they might be looking at the bench in the next 5 minutes or so to make a few substitutions in preparation of the second leg coming up as well in just a week's time. Of course, Villa will be focusing on the game against Forest on Sunday, so two teams playing this evening, playing each other on Sunday afternoon action, which is the game you can catch on this service, whereas Bologna, looking at the game they've got at the weekend, they'll be hosting Lecce on Sunday as well, so both teams playing on Sunday due to playing this Thursday evening. McGinn coming forward. He's been very good in all the quietest ways, and he wins a foul there against Remo Freuler. And McGinn usually is involved in everything, winning fouls, giving away fouls, creating chances. He's been very quiet, but in all the best ways. He hasn't done too much wrong, but hasn't been the star of the show.
Perfect player for an away game like this. You stick him in that front four, and it's almost like when you need him, it's just having an extra defender from an attacking position. He just adds so much work rate in a game like this. It's insane. He really does. What a vital player to this Aston Villa setup. He actually is. Well, curse to the commentator again. He's just taken the worst free kick you'll ever see. He's just clipped it straight out for a goal kick. I swear that happened in the first half. We were bigging up Jonathan Rowe, and he took one of the worst throw-ins you'll ever see. Not even an under-16 side would take a throw-in that bad. Yeah, it's happened again.
It's happened. We'll try not to praise everyone too much until they do something really good, so hopefully nothing poor comes from them. Lovely play down the right-hand side from João Mario, takes it past a few Villa players. Onana comes over though to win the ball, but Castro comes away with it. He's going to go for a strike at goal. Lemmy Martinez comes out, bit of catching practice, if you will. But the Argentine, Aston Villa, gets the ball back. Castro apologises, should have played to Orsolini to his right. That would have been a better option. But as well, of course, Villa went through that really bad patch of form, didn't they? Maybe, what, a month, 2 months ago or so. And it doesn't surprise me that very much at the same time, Tielemans, McGinn, Kamala's not come back into the 11. He's still injured, of course. Those three, which are 3 easy starters for Aston Villa, realistically, they all went down at the same time. And that coincided with Villa's real drop in form. And now that 2 out of the 3 are back, it doesn't surprise me that now they're hitting better form. 3 of his nailed-on starters were out, and now he's got 2 out of the 3 back. Yeah,
Tielemans is the big one for me. I think you can tell when Tielemans is missing. Aston Villa look poor. They drop a lot of points when he's not playing. He wasn't with them for the first, what felt like a month and a bit of the season. Aston Villa with a relegation lot for a long time. They didn't score a goal, I believe, in the opening 5 or 6 games. It was that bad for them. And people were thinking, how on earth have they just turned like this? He came back and click of a finger for, well, maybe up until about a month and a half, 2 months ago. People were saying, are Aston Villa in a title race? That just shows the form that they went on.
Yeah, they went. First 5 games, they didn't even pick up a point, did they?
Yeah.
I don't believe. I definitely didn't pick up a win, I should say. I can't remember off the top of my head. Then they went on that great run. Dropped off a little bit. You always felt that was coming, but now they've picked up some really great form in recent weeks and months of Aston Villa. Rodgers on the ball. I think, as you say as well, Tielemans, whether he's playing that deeper role or in a more advanced role, he's absolutely perfect in one or the other. Rodgers wins a free kick. He takes it quickly, plays it out to the left-hand side to Rodgers. He's got a one-on-one. Rodgers plays out to Watkins, I should say. Apologies, with Lucchini, who's on a yellow card as well. Plays it back though to Tielemans. He just sits and conducts that deep line playmaker, quarterback in the side, if you will. Onana as well, put next to him, great player. Rogers cuts inside on his left boot, goes for a strike at goal. It's low, hard driven, but saved by Revalia. And it's another opportunity for Aston Villa. But again, how swiftly they're moving through Bologna would be quite worrying for Vincenzo Italiano. I do believe if Aston Villa want to, again, I don't think they will. I mean, Kieran has spoke about I'm really, really happy with a 1-0 loss to take back to Villa Park to a degree, because now he can almost have that first leg to suss the opponent out going into the second leg. If they want a third goal, I think Villa could easily get a third goal, but they also probably don't want to go for a third in case they concede. They'll be so happy with a 2-0 lead they currently have.
Be delighted, wouldn't they? Jonathan Rowe whips in a dangerous ball into the area, but once again it goes straight into the hands of Emi Martinez. We're just at that stage, aren't we, of this game where 77 minutes in, just don't need to risk anything. Aston Villa, they've been so good, haven't they, defensively, really solid. Love a clean sheet as of late, love a clean sheet against Italian opposition. Well, it's almost like playing the Italians at their own game, isn't it? Being so defensively sound.
At the moment, Rowe on the ball on the left-hand side. Of course, the English side are 2-0 up against the Italian side here. That's exactly what's happening in the Conference League. It's Palace 2, Fiorentina 0. Mainz are still 2-0 up against Strasbourg. Shakhtar have just got a goal against AZ Alkmaar to make it 1-0 as Rome makes a run into the box, back into the area. Bernardeschi strike at goal off the outside of the post. Again, that man, Jonathan Rowe, making everything work. And we spoke about Mike Cash. He had that one good piece of play against Jonathan Rowe, didn't he, where he won that free kick. Apart from that, Rowe's had him on toast every single time.
Yeah, he has. I guess the only disappointing thing from Jonathan Rowe today has been the sense of he's not turned it into real good chances for Bologna. So it's been quite disappointing in that sense. As we now see Bernardeschi, the camera linger on his face after he's just struck the post. Maybe just sums up his game as well.
Yeah. As well, so left-footed there, ball over the top. Castro's going to get on the end of it. Can he get past Konza? Goes for a strike-cut goal. It's blocked well away by the goal scorer Villa's first, but it falls for Bernardeschi. Can he find a teammate? Cuts inside on his favoured left. Will he go for a strike? He slows it down. Now he goes for a strike, blocked away. Finds Orsolini in the penalty area. Cuts it back to Bernardeschi. Strike going wide, but it's blocked away. Now the flag does go for what I believe was an offside against Orsolini. So the attack for Bologna comes to nothing, unfortunately, and it will be an Aston Villa goal kick, free kick, I should say. Just a quick update on the Europa League scores. Of course, Porto 1, Forest 1, and Freiburg now 3-0 up. And Celta Vigo to boot. Aston Villa making a change. Looks like Amadou Onana will be making way for Bogard. Change is made quite a decent amount of time. Bogard put it right back as well in the last few weeks. He's been quite impressive in those positions, but once again, Bogard coming on, Onana coming off. I'm surprised. I mean, maybe Unai Emery also sees up this 11 is playing really good right now. They don't look tired. I don't want to change too much in case a mistake happens, but I'm surprised to say we're just about to 80 minutes on the clock. It's Bologna 0, Aston Villa 2. That Unai Emery's only made one change so far. Yeah,
that's just delighted with his performance. I think he'll be really happy with the players that have started this game. Only Watkins taken now, no free kick given. But yeah, the task set out, as much as it was dull in the first half from an Aston Villa point of view, it's probably exactly what he asked for. He's going to be so happy as Unai Emery, especially if it stays 2-0.
Yeah, and I think at the moment, as we said, if there were to be a third goal in this game, most likely would go to Unai Emery's side. Long ball forward, looking for Watkins. He nods it on for the run of Rogers, but it goes back to Revalia in the Bologna goal. Who've seen it to the feet of Morrow, the substitute, not getting really comfortable in this game. I say that because Villa have been the better side since he's been on the field. Bernardeschi, ball forward to Castro, lovely back heel to Orsolini. He's going to drive forward, lovely pass out to Rowe on the left hand side. Got a chance, cuts inside, goes for goal. Does that take a fingertip save of Martinez? Yes, it does. That was top corner bound, and that's where the big moment and a big player like Emi Martinez steps up. What a chance for Bologna.
Yeah, and that's better from Jonathan Rowe. He finally turns it into a real opportunity, and it's a great save, isn't it, from Emi Martinez, just to tip it over the bar. I mean, that is a world-class save. It really is. What a save at a big stage of this game as well. If Bologna got that goal, the Towers would have been up for a leveller for quite a while left of this game.
Still got a chance. Also, Lini with a corner straight on the goalkeeper, but there's no one really affecting Martinez, and he does win the ball. Bit of catching practice. Lucimi's down. Emi Martinez tried to roll it out, but the leg is kicked up, so there might be a yellow card there. Watching it back, it looks like Cash just had his trailing left hand and might catch Lucimi in the face. I don't think it's a foul or anything like that. This is great play from on the left-hand side from Rowe, cutting in. As you say, the first time really creating something as well. What I probably thought as well is at the beating of Malik Cash, changes being made here as Castro is going to come off, so fresh legs onto the field. Odegaard is coming on for Bologna, so striker for striker. Of course, Castro's been on for the 82 minutes of play. Do you think as well, not McGinn's a great defender, but Rowe probably thought as well, right, yes, I've had the beating of Malik Cash all night, but I've got a fresh piece of meat here almost in John McGinn. Let me run at him, let me see what I'm all about, and he was very successful against him.
Yeah, it's exactly that. We now see a foul from Heggen, but yeah, it's a great strike from Jonathan Rowe, but a free kick that goes the way of Aston Villa that maybe shows the frustration. We've not seen much of Orsolini since he came on.
No, you're right with that. I'm surprised as well. He hasn't been as involved, excuse me, as we thought he would be. Hasn't made the impact I'm sure he will have wanted as well. Too many touches for the Bologna number 7, free kick for Villa, just about the halfway line, and they're just looking to see this game out now. Maybe that Rowe strike as well will have had him and everything, and we don't want that again, so we've got to be careful. But Bologna coming forward with that man Jonathan Rowe. Can he poke it forward? He's got 3 Villa players in front of him. It'll fall for Bernardeschi. Great tackle from Ezri Konza there, getting back. If he times it wrong, that might have been a free kick and a possible red card to boot, but he gets it right and wins his ball for his side. Bologna win it back though after a heavy touch from Emi Buendia. Bernardeschi. Jonathan Rowe very high on this left-hand side. Ball into the box, but finds someone running onto it. Is Mario. Strike is saved. Bologna have got their tails up, as Kieran said. If they do get a goal, you can imagine they'll go all out to get an equaliser. Miranda, he might unleash a strike here. He does. It swerves left and right, but kindly into the arms of Emi Martinez. But if you are Vincenzo Italiano, I think you'll be happy that your side are pushing. You'd expect it, but how they are pushing for a goal. They
are pushing. They're getting shots off, finally. That's what's important. Just see that shot back. I mean, Pau Torres puts his arms down. It definitely hits the skin on his arm rather than it being the sleeve upwards. Yes, he had it behind his side, but it's almost like he allowed it to just hit that. It's a risky move from Pau Torres. But yeah, Bologna enjoying the latter stages of this game.
Which I'm sure maybe even Villa are like, come on, attackers, we're 2-0 up. We want that clean sheet, but we also might get a mistake out here. Lucimi, great play. Rodgers is all over him. He's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card, and he's going to get his second yellow card here, is Morgan Rodgers. And he's going to get his match in order. The referee...
He's forgot. How many times is this going to happen? This happened recently. This happened the other week against...
I'm just looking back at full confirmation. Yeah, he did get because it was for simulation the first half. The referee, it was a foul by Rodgers, a cynical foul, should have been a yellow card. Morgan Rodgers has been given a yellow card. Unai Emery should be preparing to take him off as soon as possible. We're getting confirmation from the social media sites we use. Morgan Rodgers was given a yellow card in the 32nd minute. It was a ball over the top from Cash, which went down for a dive. He's just fouled Lucimi there. Morgan Rodgers, you're spot on, Kieran. It's happened earlier, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of games ago. Morgan Rodgers is so lucky right now.
It happened for Gabriel Goodmanson for Leeds against Crystal Palace, and the referee realised and then went and sent him off. Also happened in England versus Uruguay, but the referee never remembered. He booked Agate twice, but never sent him off. Uruguay then subbed him off. Well, it's just happened for Morgan Rodgers. He's picked up 2 yellow cards, and he's not being sent off. I mean, that... Unless we're missing something here and he didn't get that first yellow card, that is unforgivable in a fixture like this. It is. It doesn't seem like anything's being made of it as of yet.
No, I will say, so Jonathan Rhodes coming forward here, ball into the box, strikers away. So on the couple, again, we cover a lot of games, we use a lot of social media sites. A couple of them have said he's been booked in the first half, a couple have said he hasn't. Our broadcasters popped up for Morgan Rodgers being given a yellow card. I will say, we didn't see the referee give him the yellow card, we was only given the information by the broadcasters. So there's a possibility that I want to say perhaps the referee didn't get the yellow card out, but as far as we, and I will say on social media, a lot of people are think they're going stir crazy like we think we're going stir crazy. So I will say my assumption is Morgan Rogers was never given a yellow card, and it's a technical glitch maybe of the broadcasters. But we're not the only people who thought that. So Morgan Rogers is on a yellow card now, so he's got to be careful. See, but now that makes it even worse. For example, early on in the second half where Jonathan Rowe took it past him, we were saying he's on a yellow card so he can't go in. That makes that defending from Rogers look a little bit poorer now as well.
Yeah, exactly that. There'll be something clear on that after the game. Right now, we're not going to know as there's a ball whipped in towards Miranda, evades him, goes behind for a goal kick, but big moment, big talking point.
It was a big talking point. As I say, I'm just having a double check of the sort of social media, of Twitter, X, and they're ready in 2 changes now. Martin and Bailey about to come on for Buendia and Rogers. Yeah, not a shock you're going to get him off as soon as possible. So it's Rogers off, definitely on at least 1 yellow card, and the Argentine Emi Buendia off, Martin and Bailey on. And I think these are just fresh legs for the last, we're about 87 minutes on the clock. Add on your extra time, maybe 7 or 8 minutes, give or take. Just to see this game out now, 2-0, job done to a great degree. Bring on the second leg at Villa Park for Unai Emery.
Yeah, exactly. It is about just bringing on that second leg, isn't it, for Aston Villa? Maybe a game where they can rest a couple of players. Maybe he won't bother risking it because they are quite comfortable in that top 5 spot at the moment. But yeah, just fresh legs to see out of this game.
I won't be surprised. I think you're right. I won't be surprised if perhaps at least I look at, for example, Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers. They might be 2 players that maybe don't start, or if they do start, play 60 minutes. You know, maybe go get that first goal and rest on your laurels. Ball forward here, Bernadeschi. It's not dealt with at first by Torres and Konza. Odegaard picks it up, bears it back to Morrow, gets it set up for him. Going to put a ball into the box, plays it towards Salini, cuts inside on his favoured left boot, tries to go down the byline with his right. Great tackle from Digne, spot on from the Frenchman. It had to be 1-2 with Martin, with Watkins. He makes England. The English forward, drive forward and lose the ball. So back to Ravalier, and Bologna still with a 2-goal deficit against him. 89 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio commentary of the Europa League first leg from the Rato Dallara. It is Bologna 0, Aston Villa 2. Goals late on in the first half and early in the second half from Konza and Watkins due to 2 mistakes from Bologna, 1 from the goalkeeper, 1 from the centre-back Hegem, and include Juan Miranda in that as well. Two mistakes at the back, pounced upon twice by Villa, and they have a 2-0 lead. Bologna 0, Aston Villa 2. At the weekend, Villa do play Forest, Lecce at home for Bologna, so they'll be back on home turf for that. But a week today will be the second leg at Villa Park. Who will be in the semi-finals? As Kieran's already spoke about, who will be meeting in the semi-finals, I should say. The winner of Porto and Forest. Jonathan Rowe cuts inside. Rowe goes for goal! He's found the back of the net. Late drama here in Italy. What a finish. He had one saved by Emi Martinez about 5 minutes or so ago, getting the better of the Argentine this time. This was low and dipping. Bologna have at least 1 goal back into it. Could they get a second? It's Bologna 1, Aston Villa 2.
And I have a bit of that. I'm not surprised at all to see it's Jonathan Rowe. He's finally darting his man and creating the end product that we was asking for about 10 minutes ago. As well, he came so close about 10 minutes ago. This time he makes no mistake. What a hit into that far side netting. It creeps into the corner. Couldn't have hit it any better. What a hit from him. It's game back on. Maybe not for the rest of tonight, but definitely for next week. We've just hit the 90th minute. Can Bologna push for a leveller? It's a big, big goal. Only 3 minutes of added time.
I was about to say, it depends. If that would have been 6 minutes or so, you might say, oh, Bologna pushing for it. 3 minutes, Aston Villa might just try and knock it around and not lose it, but they play the ball long, looking for Watkins, and they give it away. That was Jonathan Rowe's 7th shot of the game, I will say, as well. Going into that, he had 6 shots, 2 on target, 2 off target, 2 blocks. So if anyone's had a couple of Jonathan Rowe shots and shots on target, you've done yourself well this evening. But as Kieran said, 3 minutes of stoppage time to go. Foul given away there by Digne on Orsolini. Free kick here for Bologna. It could be late drama, and if they do grab an equaliser, what a quick fire equaliser it will be.
Yeah, it really could be. Orsolini just taken down by Luca Digne. And I tell you what, it's a chance to load that penalty area. What an opportunity. The Bologna fans are finally up for it.
Yeah, it's atmosphere's bouncing. The Renato Dallara. Quickly taken, Bernadeschi's cutting inside, will he go for goal? Fakes it a few times, he attacks along, takes a strike at goal, takes a deflection as well. Believe it might have been off a Bologna man though. And it will go wide for a goal kick. Yes, it was off the backside of the man who's just come on. Cambiahi for Freuler. So unfortunately his first touch of the game was to put it wide for a goal kick. Played about 90 seconds of the 3 minutes of stoppage time. It's his fourth goal in the Europa League this season for Jonathan Rowe. Kieran's been praising him all evening long after covering the Bologna and Roma two-legged Europa League affair. He's been the man that, again, I mean, you said in the first half, but from just the game anyway, that if anyone was going to step up in the first half, I would have included Castro. I thought he was really good in the first 45. In the second half, really dropped off. But if you felt anyone in a Bologna shirt this evening was going to do anything of note in goals or assisting, it was going to be Rowe.
Yeah, it was, and he was the player they were playing through. Very rarely gone down the right-hand side tonight, whether that be Orsolini or Bernadeschi, it feels. But yeah, Jonathan Rowe, fantastic moment, and it'll just give them that confidence going into the next leg next week, which is not going to be easy going to Villa Park.
Well, we said about maybe Rodgers and Watkins might be rested. I think Villa will be going very full strength now, that it's only just a one-goal lead they have. They're coming forward though now with Marks and John McGinn. It's a corner, apologies, I thought he was going out for a goal kick because McGinn said leave it. He's saying that he should be careful with a foul there. The skipper and the referee's going to get away. No need for that. 15 seconds left of the 3 minutes. There'll be a corner. Villa will play in the corner of the quadrant almost. But this is a great result for Unai Emery.
Yeah, it's still a great result. I think he's just going to be quite frustrated, the fact that they've conceded that goal. But the final seconds of this game is going to be a Villa corner to try double their lead.
They could maybe get last one because this could be, I imagine, a ball into the box and the last attack of the game. Tielemans, good ball into the box. Watkins grabs his brace. That could be the last kick of the game. Bologna with a great goal from Jonathan Rowe, got themselves back into it. But Watkins grabs Villa's third in stoppage time at the death of the game, really. It was a poor defensive corner from Bologna. They switched off Villa, fantastic there. They get their 2-goal buffer back. Watkins grabs his second. What a way to end the game.
Big moment. The fact that Bologna have allowed that to happen will be devastating for Italiano and his side. But it's Ollie Watkins with his second of the evening. This simple corner. The marking is terrible from Miranda. Ollie Watkins is allowed to bring it down on the edge of the 6-yard box. That's embarrassing defending from Bologna. He seals the deal for 3-1. What a performance from him. My man of the match.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I know it's cliche, goals and strikers get confidence from goals, but I thought he was good in the first half, but the second half, as you say, he's been just a level above everyone else almost, hasn't he? I think everyone else from Villa have been good, but Watkins has separated himself. I think we're just waiting for full confirmation. Bologna have kicked off. It's his third goal in the Europa League this season, a brace this evening, and that is full time. First half full of tension between the two sides. Late goal from Measure Contra after a mistake from Raviali for Villa to take a 1-0 lead. They scored a second early on in the second half for Ollie Watkins. Another mistake at the back from Bologna. Late goal from Jonathan Rowe. What a strike. He was the best player for Bologna all evening long. And then basically with the last kick of the game from a corner, Yuri Tielemans whipped it in. Great delivery. Poor defending from the Italians. Ollie Watkins brought it down, tapped it home to send Villa with that 2-goal buffer back into next week's second leg. Full-time first leg of the Europa League quarter-finals. It's finished Bologna 1, Aston Villa 3.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck!